This game is fun if you really like roguelites. There are 7 characters to choose from and each have different weapons and abilities, which allows for different levels of customization. However, some elements of the game feel painfully repetitive and it helps away the fun. Despite the positives, parts of the game feel incredibly bland and it feels like Marvel's made this game on a whim without a lot of development effort. The price is pretty high for what you get, so you absolutely won't wait for a sale if you're interested. This was one of the games that I was interested in from the previous at the directs and other game shows. I love Marvels because of Rune Factory and I loved how it was stated to draw elements from Rune Factory. It was portrayed as if Rune Factory met Roguelite Dungeon Crawler, which had a promise because of how complex Rune Factory is an RPG sim, and making this a Roguelite Dungeon Crawler was a fresh perspective. However, it fails to deliver and the actual gameplay ends up feeling like a mobile game due to how restricted your skill sets were, which is a huge red flag. About the positives. The first is art. It's a chibi style but not overly chibi. It's just cute enough and it works because of how it references other Marvel's titles. Music sounds good, fits the eras and they were composed for. It helps to maintain your immersion, which is great. RPG level progression. Most roguelites don't have levels to keep, so this game having that was a nice touch as it lessens the grit you will need if you wanted to play multiple different characters. This was the most prominent positive I could find as the time is a very important topic that I'll go over in the following issues. About the gear progression. It's a very linear and it keeps itself simple, which saves you a lot of time. No, you don't need that one extremely rare material to make a legendary rarity weapon. They all share similar material that you just need to farm, which saves you headaches in the long run. The wood you find on the floor X will be used for all equipment from your floor X. About the issues. The first is the story. To be perfectly transparent, I genuinely feel like the story was crap. From the way it's narrated to how it proceeds, it sounds like it was a story that was a WAP, work in progress, for another game, but was scrapped. The setting and introduction was very blunt and wasn't interesting at all. By the time you get to the second area, you can predict the rest of the story incredibly easily because there's no depth or complexity involved. About the maps. The 4 maps start out basic, but quickly devolve to annoying. You have limited movement options outside of your dashes to the movement speed that, so at least 50 or 70% of the maps are a literal walking simulator. The devs didn't think to condense the maps or make it function as different rooms like how you see games like Hades does. Ultimately, watching yourself run around to grab things 24/7 ruins your immersion and eats out way too much time. Now normally this wouldn't be an issue for the RPG game, but this is also roguelite, meaning you will have multiple runs. Multiple runs means experiencing the same maps over and over if you see where I'm going with this. About the loot. The way gear upgrades works goes by both rank and rarity. You start at rank 1, which has the lowest scaling and stats, and the rarest go from common through to legendary. However, that being said, most of your loot becomes obsolete the second you advance to the next area. This means every material you found for, every piece of gear you crafted and now essentially trash. To add context, there is no material convention to alternative use for the materials you found in the previous floor. Wood from floor 3 will be forever pointless for anything past floor 3 and also cannot be used for anything from the previous floors. I suppose you can keep crafting it to farm station experience, but why bother when you would start crafting wood from the new floor you arrived at? Combined with how expensive it is to level up gear later on, this makes for a toxic loop of grinding that shouldn't need to be in this game because you get forced to start from the scratch. At least in a good chunk of other RPGs, they mix different materials you may have gotten at various points to craft something new. Personally, after getting the satisfaction of beating the boss of an area